Imagine that you're sitting there getting ready to go to bed and your cell phone rings and it's your daughter. You think. You answer it and the person at the other end of the phone says, your daughter just got hit by a car. Story time. Facebook reminded me today that it's been 14 years since my daughter and grandson were hit by a car. The day that one of the days my life changed. She was 18 and he was 5 years old, and they went across the street to get a soda. So they went down the street and across the street to the liquor store in the neighborhood to get a soda. I'm in the house changing my clothes because I didn't feel good and I just wanted to go get in the bed. I had taken some Benadryl. I was ready to go pass out. My phone rings. It's her number on my phone, and I look at the phone and I go, hello? And it's a total strange voice on the phone. Is this the mom of the girl whose phone this is? And I'm like, yes, it is. And they're like, oh, she just got hit by a car. She's laying in the street, her and the baby. I told her, her brother, who's there at the house with me. I have the 4-year-old grandson, his brother, and my son at the house. And I said, Brittany just got hit by a car. The baby got hit by a car. And I'm taking off running. He comes out behind me. I get halfway down the street and realize I left the 4-year-old at home by herself. So then I got to run back down, and I grab his arm and I'm dragging him down the street because I'm trying to get down. There's a crowd of people. There's all these cars. There's this crowd of people down here. I can't understand what's going on. So I get down to the crowd where the crowd is, and then I see my daughter laying in the street and my grandson laying in the street, and nobody's moving. Nobody's moving, but there's blood. My daughter's laying on the ground. There's blood coming from her head. My grandson's underneath the car, and there's blood going down the street. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. All these people are standing around, and this woman comes up talking to me and says, they ran in front of my car. I never saw them. And I'm like, okay, now I can't talk to you right now. Stop. So I go, Lord, what am I supposed to do? Lord, help me. I don't know what to do. Lord, help me. I don't know what to do. And then my daughter starts moving. So I see life. So I go run after the baby. And they told me to leave him alone because he's underneath the car. But I'm trying to hold him. I'm getting blood all over the place. And paramedics come. I call some family. Family comes around. And I call his dad. His mom's at work. She's at a call center. So you can't just reach her. So you have to call the front desk, and the desk has to send a message to her, and then they have to give her permission to leave. So that's what we're going through. So then while we have him, they put him in the ambulance, and they're taking the baby up to the park where the helicopter is because they have to airlift him over to the children's hospital in Los Angeles. I tell his dad, go with him. You ride with your son in the helicopter out to the hospital. So I go, cool, that's taken care of. I'm gonna get in the car. I'm gonna go over here with my child because he got his daddy, and the mom's gonna meet him over there. He come walking down the street. Helicopter goes. Here he come walking down the street. I go, you supposed to go with your son. He said he's scared to fly. He sent his 5-year-old baby on an airplane by himself, a helicopter by himself. So now I got to renege. I got to take him to the hospital with me, to his child, so the baby's not there too long by himself. Because when he get off the helicopter, ain't nobody there to talk for him. The baby there by himself. And now I got to send somebody else to go get the mama, so the mama can come to the hospital where her child is. And I got to move everything around. I sent my mom and everybody with my daughter, so she had people with her down at the hospital. And I took him out there to the hospital with his son. My daughter walks in, and I go, okay, there's blood, but don't let him see you panic. He's laying there. He don't remember what's going on. He doesn't even realize he's at a hospital. We tell him he was in a car accident. We tell him he was in a car accident. He said, no, I wasn't. I was jumping on the bed. So his memory is gone. He doesn't remember anything after making his sandwich. He doesn't even remember going to the store. So he's at the hospital with his mom. I jump in the car and I go to the hospital with my child. Everybody's out there. My daughter's sitting there. She has a gaping hole in her head right here. A gaping hole in her head right here. And I go, what else is wrong with her? She's sitting there going, oh, hey, everybody came to visit me. She thought she was at home and everybody came by to visit her. She didn't realize she was in a car accident. So her memory's gone too. She remembered saying she was taking him to the store. She doesn't remember anything after that. No, actually, she remembers stepping off the curb. And she doesn't remember anything after they stepped off the curb. So while I'm there with her, they send us home, and we got to pack her forehead with gauze. and then unpack it and pack it with gauze. They didn't give us no ointment to put on or anything, but they said the gauze is going to help it build up in the inside. I hope this ain't too gross, and TikTok don't trip out on me because I'm saying blood and stuff like that. But they say her knee is fine. It's just sprained. She can't walk on it. She can't put no pressure on it. She can't walk on it. She can't do nothing. So a couple of days later, I take her over to an orthopedic surgeon, and they tell me that the muscle is torn and there's nothing holding the bone in the center of her knee, and that's why it's moving like this when she walks. So they give her a splint, and now we got a whole nother routine, plus this thing up here we still have to deal with. It killed all the nerves in her eye right here, and eyebrows do this, hers doesn't. But cosmetic surgery, you can't see the scar. Before you could see the scar, now you can't. You can't even see the scar. Look at me looking at myself. So that's what happened with her. We got a long process. We got lots of therapy and all that. Back over to the grandson who's out in Los Angeles at the Children's Hospital. We go visit him every day. It took them 3 days before they were able to realize, when they did an x-ray, that baby's jaw was shattered all through here. So 3-4 days he was in the hospital. They couldn't figure out why he couldn't eat. You know, he couldn't open his mouth to eat or anything. They took him out of intensive care, but he was in a room. And it was just weird. When I took my daughter, the one that was with him, to go see him at the hospital, they just kind of looked at each other. They didn't really say anything. They just kind of looked at each other like they had a secret, but neither one of them remembered what happened. So that was like weird to me. Anyway, so they wound up wiring his jaw shut, and he had to have his jaw shut all the way up until Thanksgiving. And we tried to blend up spaghetti, pizza, so he could suck it through a straw, like the whole Kanye West thing with the whole jaw wire thing. We, all of that. He wanted macaroni and cheese. All of that we tried it. It was the nastiest month. It was gross. When I get the police report back, the police report tells me that the woman was driving down the street, and there were other cars that stopped because they saw my children walking across the street. They were in the intersection. Cars stopped going this way and this way. 4-way stop. Cars on all sides. Everybody stopped because they see humans crossing the street. This woman thought the cars were just too far from the curb, so she's going to go around them. They're blowing the horn at her, trying to get her to stop. She goes full speed into my babies. Full speed. And created a life. And Facebook just reminded me of that. Pretty crazy, right?